5 years ago, when my youngest daughter was 3 years old, my parents, my sister and her family, and my family all decided to go on a Disney cruise. Well, we were super excited and we started to pack. I had the task as a mom to pack up my daughter to get her ready for the trip. Well, there was one thing that she insisted that she needed to bring, and that was her powder fresh pickle. Now, powder fresh pickle, you may be wondering, how did she get that name? So this is a Cabbage Patch. It smells powder fresh. And then this is actually like a monkey suit with bananas, but she thought it was pickles. So she calls it powder fresh pickle. Well, anyways, she loved powder fresh pickle. And at home, if she would sit powder fresh pickle down, and forget where she put powder fresh pickle, she would panic, and my husband and I would have to run around the house until we found powder fresh pickle. So you could imagine that we were a little stressed out that my daughter wanted to bring powder fresh pickle on a giant boat in the middle of the ocean. My whole family, actually, the entire trip was on high alert because we knew the epic meltdown that would occur if powder fresh pickle got left in the dining room or the pool. We were so nervous that she would toss it to one of us, and instead of us catching it, it would toss into the ocean. It actually became very stressful. Many times on the trip, we were like, "Where's powder fresh pickle?" This little Cabbage Patch, something that was supposed to bring joy and comfort, actually ended up causing a lot of stress and was really stressful. So it got me thinking, what are the things in our lives that we hold on to that are actually more stressful than comfort? What are those things that we are just holding on to? Tom, Pastor Tom?
So we're doing a bit of spring cleaning in our house this season. I will confess to you that one of my addictions is books. I have so many books. I don't know what to do with them. And now with the advent of the Kindle, I have even more that don't take up shelf space. So I'm grateful for that anyway. I took a carload of books to the library on Friday to relieve the foundation of our house of any excessive burden we've been placing on it. I took 375 books to the library, along with another 104 CDs. Now, don't worry, it's not like I don't have anything to read. I have at least as many or more books still on the shelves and over 200 books on the Kindle. I'm all set for reading material. But the process of pulling the books off the shelves was harder than I thought. With each one, I opened it up and read a few words, remembered the time and place when I read it last, or perhaps where I got it from, or the person who gave it to me. These books have been my friends, my companions for years. But as I looked around at them, I kept asking myself, is it worth holding on to? Will I likely have reason or occasion to read it again? And I confess that some of those books I've never even read. They were easy to box up. Others told me something about myself or a time in my history. Many of them told the story of my scholarly journey that led to my PhD. As important as they were for my dissertation, I'm unlikely to revisit them again. So why have I been holding on to them this long? I spent a fortune of CDs at Rose Records in Evanston, Illinois. I was a grad student and CDs were the newest technology. When I bought a CD, I was certain that I was investing in the future of music. Today, I can listen to any one of those songs or symphonies on Spotify or Pandora for free. At the time, it felt solid, but then technology changed again. Anybody remember Blockbuster? Right? Every Friday night when we lived in Dayton, we would take our kids to Blockbuster and rent a movie. It was a solid tradition that we imagined would never end. Today, there is exactly one Blockbuster left in the world. It is in Bend, Oregon, if you want to make a pilgrimage next Friday. Everything is transitory, isn't it? Just ask the pharaohs who are buried in the pyramids. Even temples fall. One of the great wonders of the world is Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Built in the 12th century, these temples and shrines were evidence of a massive and sophisticated people. And yet today, trees grow out of the sides of the temples at odd angles, and roots simply bypass the great stonework seeking water. Even the great temple in Jerusalem, where God was said to dwell, was destroyed by the Babylonians in 587 BCE, rebuilt by those who returned from exile, and then destroyed again by the Romans in 70 AD. Nothing lasts forever. And yet sometimes we hold on to things as if they do. You remember how Mary Magdalene wept outside the tomb, and how at one point she looked into the tomb to find the two angels sitting there, one where Jesus' head had lain and the other where his feet had been. They asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she cried out, "They have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they've put him." She just wanted to hold on to his body. She ran out of the tomb and ran smack into Jesus, but here her eyes were kept from recognizing him. He too asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And supposing him to be the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have taken him away, show me where you have put him, so that I may come to him and attend to his body." The gardener spoke her name, Mary. Turning in recognition of his voice, she cried out with joy, "Rabboni, my teacher!" Now you can imagine how excited and joyful she was. If I were there and had her history with Jesus, I would have reached out and clung to him, never wanting to let go again. Apparently something like that happened, because suddenly Jesus speaks to her again, saying, "Don't hold on to me." Then it says another peculiar thing. Jesus told her, "I have not yet ascended to my Father and your Father." Just as she's recovering her feet underneath her, grasping the reality of the resurrection, Jesus told her not to hold on to his body. Even this isn't permanent. Do not hold on to what was, because if you do, it cannot become what it needs to be. There is an important but subtle message here in one simple verse. Resurrection and eternal life are true things. They are real things, but they are not things that we can grasp. They are not something we can pursue and lay hold of. They are not something that we can achieve or accomplish or invest wisely enough to earn. Resurrection and new life are God's gift to us, but they don't come just when we die. New life with God in Jesus is Jesus' gift to us in the here and now. We can't take it. We cannot hold it. We cannot grasp it or even fully understand it. It is simply God's gift. Psalm 46 begins this way: "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in times of trouble." That sounds solid, doesn't it? God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. But pay attention to what happens next. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. The first verse of the psalm is our assurance. And boy, do we need it, because everything else is shakeable. Even the mountains and the oceans quake. When we go on vacation to Boone, North Carolina, we often hike at Grandfather Mountain. Today, it barely tops 6,000 feet above sea level, but it is such an ancient mountain that at one time it was taller than Mount Everest. Everything changes, even the mountains. The message of the psalm: there's nothing on earth that you can cling to. Everything changes. Verse 6 reads, the nations are in an uproar, kingdoms totter. He utters his voice and the earth melts away. Verse 9, he breaks the bow, shatters the spear. He burns shields with fire. When we think we've got everything under control, God laughs. Exhibit number 1, 2020. No nation, no empire, no government, no business, no gun, no missile, no weapon, no stock market, no house, no temple, no church building, no physical body lasts forever. But the love of God made known in Jesus Christ never fails. Psalm 46:10 is one of my favorite verses in all of Scripture. Be still, it reads, and know that I am God. I often use this as a prayer mantra, revisiting its words over and over to help my stray thoughts of things and worries and miscellaneous thoughts drain away. There is something about this verse. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. The word underneath the words be still is Rapha. There are a lot of ways to translate it. Be still is one of them. So is release, or let it go. It even sounds like that, doesn't it? Rapha. Let it go. Here's how I translate this verse. Be still. Stop your tireless striving. Let go of your desire to control. Release the world around you into my hands. Don't you see what I can do with it if you will let me? You are not God. I am. Let me be. No matter how faithful we are, no matter how much we love God, the desire to control our own circumstances is a very human one. When things feel out of control, we reach for something to hold on to. But as the psalm shows us, even those things are not as steady as we'd like. Do not hold on to what was, because if you do, it cannot become what needs to be. That's one of the fundamental lessons of life. It isn't about holding on. It's about learning to let go. Julie?
So I'd like to invite you into this practice that I'm going to call a meditation. And so I'm going to do it a little differently, probably right now, just to describe some things that happen in my life that caused me to want to do this. And at the end, I think we'll just practice together. But I want you to know that this form of praying can be taught to 2-year-olds. And not even taught, but experienced with them. They watch what we're doing. And so this is a way of getting the words into us. And over a lifetime, yeah, these can become some of the most powerful words that children know. So let's start. Be still and know that I am God. Try this litany of God's try this. When your litany of God's blessings is maxed out. God bless so-and-so, and God bless so-and-so, and God bless so-and-so. When that list just runs, that laundry list, take a minute and just be still and know that I am God. Sometimes I even do this when I'm super tired and I just need to know that God is with me. So back it down. Be still and know that I am. No matter how you start, let's do meditation or whatever you call this, just spend time with God. No matter where you are, in the middle of a grocery store, no matter what you're doing, the laundry, the dishes, driving to a work meeting, be still and know. Meditation looks different for everyone. It's a time to listen to God, and it's a stair-step repetition of Psalm 46:10's familiar refrain, dropping a word or two each time to shorten the sentence, then building back up again to the full phrase. Every time as we go, no matter how antsy we are or that we want to be done, we need to take the time and catch up to know that God is God. Be still. Make no mistake about it. This is a hard one for me. There are times when being still is super difficult. You start running through your list, or you say, I'll get to that later. This simple practice will take time, but it's so important to be still and listen. These words can become so close to you, already in your mouth and in your heart. Now all we have to do is learn how to live them. It takes a lifetime, but it gets better and better. Be. So much of my life runs counter to this Psalm's truth. I cringe at the amount of time where the refrain for me that's more fitting is be busy and forget that God is even around. It's all up to me, right? The house, the work, the endless to-do lists, check in on my kids. Too often I forget to slow down and seek the one that matters most in the midst of it all. Be still. Yesterday was one of those days with a huge laundry list of things to do. And Owen, my 3, almost 4-year-old grandson, came up to Tom and I and said, Poppy and Juju, can I come to your house? Can I spend the night? And so I had to just be still because God was in that moment, and forget that list and recognize that that's what was happening. And I'm going to tell you, the lightning bolt on that one hit me in the middle of the night as I was reflecting. So sometimes we get these lightning bolts from crazy places, but just be still. Be still and know I am loved and God's got my life. So I just have to be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Because at the heart of this prayer, this nightly recitation, this meditation on a psalm that has calmed and consoled Christians for thousands of years, there is this single truth: God is God. We need not be. We only need to slow and stop and remember ourselves back into a right relationship with the one who created us. No matter our age, attention span, or understanding, these words and this truth can be savored on our lips. Be still and know that I am God. So I want you just to take a couple of breaths right now, right where you are, whatever you're doing. Take a couple of breaths. I'm going to move through this faster than how I would practice it or how I do practice it at home, but I just want you to get the feel for it. Be still and know that I am God. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Be still. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Big breaths here, really big breaths here. Be still and know that I am God.